Leeds United 0, Manchester United 0. Hey up, Leeds fans. This is the match review of the derby of hate that turned into the derby of the floor. If you're a Leeds United fan, you might want to subscribe. That's all we do, Leeds content. And if you at any point during the video you like it, give us a thumbs up. Sam, put your thumb up.
The following podcast contains some strong language and some very average opinions.
Any references to actual people are wildly inaccurate. It's probably best if you don't listen at all.
The Roaring Peacock Podcast.
Welcome back to the Roaring Peacock Podcast. This is the match review of Leeds United 0. The referee, 0, and Manchester United, 0, and everybody who was watching, also 0. My name's Adonis, and you know me as at the Adelites on Twitter. It's a very good hello from me joining us today to discuss this sort of miserable waste of time. Rob at Juicy Rob.
Hey.
And the Warden of the North at Sam Ward, LUFC.
Afternoon, everybody.
Okay, so first thoughts then, lads. Wardy?
Yeah, it was a lot to be desired, that game, wasn't it? Defended really well, though, which is one positive I can take from it. But I think both sides were just not really at it today. Not the game that I expected it to be at all, actually. I thought it'd be much more end-to-end and a lot more chances. But we did restrict them to not many chances as well. That is a big positive. Loose passes everywhere. They were spent half the time on the floor. I know there was a few big challenges, but there were a lot of times where they were just going down, and the ref was buying it every single time. Pretty frustrating. But look, it's a point, and I think that's 12 points from Liverpool, Chelsea, Man United and City. So, you'd take that all day long, wouldn't you? So yeah, it's I'm happy, but yeah, it wasn't the best game, was it? Let's be honest.
Yeah, the ref was buying it and Man United were paying. Rob, first thoughts?
Yeah, it's the same. It was a game that was devoid of quality, really, wasn't it? I think the bench won them more free kicks than the actual, possession of the player or the player going down for an actual foul. A few tasty tackles, like Sam said, but overall it was a drab affair. And I think the final ball, or the lacking of a final ball quality from both sides, showed. And it was a drab 0-0. But like you say, the start of this run of 3 games, if you'd have said we'd take 5 points off City, Liverpool and Man United in this little mini block in April and go undefeated so far, then yeah, I think we would have taken that, wouldn't we? So happy with the point, but a boring affair.
Yeah. Reverse fixture was 6-2. We played a lot better than that. And it was a lot tighter of a game. So massive improvement throughout the season, which is obviously great to see. Let's talk about the handball then. Was it a handball?
You see him give him, don't you? It's one of them. He did sort of seem to put his hand out a bit. I think in his line of vision, I don't think he meant to do that, but you do definitely see them given. And if it was on the other way around, I really do think that Scum would be getting a penalty there. If it was us, the reverse of that. But you want it given, but it's not really, is it? He didn't mean to do it, but yeah, you see them given.
Rob?
Yeah, it's not a penalty for me, but the point is the consistency again, isn't it? Because was it Newcastle got one against Newcastle where it brushed his arm in exactly the same manner? So for me, it's not a penalty, but the consistency of refereeing and use of VAR is a joke, and it has been all season. So yeah.
Yep. For me, his movement is moving towards his own goal, and then the ball's coming across, and you can see his arm move towards the ball. And I think that's an unnatural movement because you wouldn't move your arm backwards when you're running forwards, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
So I think he's moved his arm towards the ball, and I do think it's hit him under the sleeve, but his arm's like very close to his side. But it just goes back to this whole thing of I don't know what's a handball anymore.
Yeah, exactly. You don't, like you say, some are given, some aren't. It really depends who's reffing and who's VARing. So yeah,
right. And I think that might be the problem with the refs have as well. Not to on a day that I find it very hard to sympathise with the referee, but maybe they don't even know the rules anymore.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think Ailing got frustrated, didn't he? Was it the lino? He told the linesman at one point, I've seen it going around on Twitter already, where he said, stop waiting for VAR. You know it's offside. He said something like, raise your fucking flag. And then the ref, pardon my language, and then the Sky Sports had to say, sorry if you'd heard any bad language there, but you can see it boiling over in the players now. This lack of clarity on decisions is so frustrating. What's a foul? What's a handball? Just some more consistency. It's a joke.
Yeah.
I love how like Sky we're becoming. You know, you
sorry,
swear and
I apologise there. PC.
Apologise if you heard any bad language.
I think this is like 17 podcasts, and I think this is like I swore on episode 1 and episode 17. There's been a big gap where I've kept my tongue.
There's not a lot of call for swearing on the youth pod, to be fair, though.
No, you're right.
But on match reviews, trust me, we can.
Many a swear word has been said.
We can dabble in the swear words.
It was a paraphrased quote from Luke Ayling.
Right. It was Luke, not I. Your Honour.
I think to be honest, I think Alioski as well. He you could see him screaming. He got called offside, and he must have ran another 50, 60 meters, and then line up, put his flag up. It really must be annoying as a player to. It's not, you're using a lot of energy them sprinting, aren't you? And you're about to what you think get into a crossing position. You look across and he's put his flag up way late. It must get annoying.
They are a dirty team, aren't they? They're a dirty, frustrating, boring watch, aren't they? I mean, that reverse fixture was an anomaly when it comes to scum. I mean, you can't get more of an anomaly. They wanted to. Talking about starting their own Super League. They're rolling around on the floor at every minute asking for a free kick. That's not entertaining. Nobody wants to watch that. No. How much are they going to sell the Super League for if that's the entertainment on offer? Nothing.
Exactly.
It's laughable that they think that brand of football is any better than Mourinho's. Like, isn't it that they're like 11th 0-0 or something this season, or a lot across all competitions? They're a boring watch, and anyone that thinks that style of football is quality is misguided for me. They are terrible to watch.
Do they even have a style though? That's the thing. Like for me, they're just a group of very expensive players on a pitch getting told by someone way out of his depth. Told, he's telling them what to do. It doesn't come across as me that they've got a style at all. They're just boring. He's not a good manager. He's just got a good set of players that are very expensive. It doesn't. Yeah, fuck them. I don't.
It's embarrassing, isn't it? It's embarrassing.
Yeah,
we've spent how much money on players?
Yeah.
And then people like Bruno Fernandes, people are talking about him like, oh, he needs to win Premier League Player of the Season or whatever, ahead of people like the De Bruyne's of this world. What's he done today? Nothing.
Been in Calvin Phillips' back pocket.
Yeah, exactly. He's been fondled by Calvin Phillips.
Yeah.
Calvin Phillips even had time to go and put Pogba in his back pocket when he came on as well, and keep Fernandes in the other pocket at the same time,
covering both of them. And all he did was roll on the floor and then lie there and look pleadingly at the referee. Come on.
Yeah. Where's my free kick?
Yeah, where's my free kick?
Come on.
Embarrassing player of the season. Never. Floor gymnastics of the season. Okay, so let's have a look at some magic moments then. A magic moment? Anybody? Shall I go first? When we got a free kick.
Yeah.
It was in the 56th minute. The ref gave us a free kick and I cheered it like a goal. There you go. That was my magic moment.
Yeah.
I've got one. Just thought of it. Meslier's save from the Rashford free kick. That was a good save. Solid. A bit theatrical by pushing it over, but a good save.
we're giving them max out of 6 now, like in the diving. Yeah.
Bit over the top, Ellie. And I know the game was boring, but please, come on.
Yeah.
Flare touch.
Yeah.
What it
was. I don't know. I can't really think of many, if I'm honest. I just enjoyed the midfield battle with Phillips and Fernandes. I know that's not a key moment, but I can't really pick anything out. I'm sorry. I think, like you say, with that save, it was a pretty shit game, let's be honest. I can't really pick much out of it. I'm sorry.
Now, I know the ref made it all about him, but let's make it all about somebody else. So, man of the match then.
Well, I think it's the obvious for me. It's got to be Calvin. I think he kept midfield in control. He played Bruno Fernandes at his own game and better. He was everywhere where he wanted to be. He was like glue. And then when Pogba came on, he did the same when he moved it. When Koch came on, and he moved to a more forward role. He did the exact same with Pogba. So for me, I think Calvin, man of the match.
Okay, Woody?
Yeah, for me, it's got to be Phillips as well. I mean, he kept Fernandes quiet all game, and he's by far their most threatening player. By far, he's the most creative player. He literally carries the team when I've seen them play, and Phillips just had him on toast all game. I was just screaming at the telly whenever he, tackled him, blocked him. I was like, "Fucking get him, Phillips!" Every time. Did the right number on him, and that's a big reason why they couldn't really do a lot, because Fernandes was getting kept quiet by Phillips. So yeah, Calvin Phillips all day for me.
Well, that's 2 for Phillips, so I have to pick somebody else, don't I? Otherwise, it can be a very boring podcast. We all agree. Yeah. We all say exactly the same thing, same opinion.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
Tune in next week.
For some more boring info.
Yeah. So Ayling, I thought, had a fantastic game.
Yeah,
absolutely brilliant. He basically did nothing wrong. There were just 2 misplaced passes in the last 10 minutes where, we didn't need that at the time. But him and Llorente, I thought was
you're right,
immense as well.
Yep.
Sparke was great.
Yep.
Too. Even Halioski played okay.
He did.
Even Roberts was making things happen in the first half. There were some good touches at times from Costa as well. I thought it was without anybody shining. It was quite a good performance from the majority of the team. But if I had to pick one, I'd say Luke Ayling. That's different from Phillips, obviously.
Yeah.
Clearly, Phillips is man of the match. You expect it though, don't you?
Yeah, you do. Yeah. Did Sky give him it as well? I know at the end they sort of zoomed in on him and said, "Oh, you did a great job today," but I didn't see him give him man of the match.
I didn't see who got it.
No, it should be Phillips, shouldn't it? Really?
I don't know, but on that basis, should Luke Ayling and Calvin Phillips be going to the Euros for England?
I mean, yeah. What's another right back in amongst another fucking 5 or 6? Just chuck another right back in the mix. I mean, I'd obviously love to see him there. But there is quite an order, like a queue in front of him. Sorry. So I would love to see it, just because I absolutely love Ayling, love what he stands for, love seeing him on the pitch. He's always smiling, always chatting, always winding people up. It'd just be great to see that on the international stage, wouldn't it? But I think there is quite a few people ahead of him in Gareth Southgate's eyes. But if it was down to me, he'd be starting. But every English player in the Leeds team would be starting for England. But yeah, there's a big queue in there, unfortunately.
He kept Rashford quiet though.
He did, yeah.
Yeah,
he did well.
Yeah.
Didn't do anything all game, Rashford. Okay. So I think there's 2 things that need to be scrapped here, or talked about being scrapped. One is the games that happen in the middle of the day, because they're generally, for me, okay, Leeds United versus Man United was always in the middle of the day because of the crowds, because of the crowd trouble. And now it's that they've started to have these games in the middle of the day because of the television rights. So that's like prime time in Asia or whatever. So, but they're always boring. And the other thing about it was a Leeds United Man United game has never looked so dull. Like just because the crowd isn't there, it didn't feel right at all. It felt like the first time when there were no crowds in a game. Again, it just didn't feel right. It was like looking at something completely out of place, a chef, a fat chef in a ballet or something. You know what I mean? Probably
there's no spectacle. There was no showpiece.
Best analogy.
There was no. It's a great analogy, actually. It's the last thing I'd expect when I go to the ballet to watch the Nutcracker is, a fat chef coming up and just whips up an omelette. There's no spectacle, is there? There was no pizzazz, if that's the right word.
No.
There was nothing about it that screamed good quality. But they've got no excuse. I've got a good friend who's a Man United fan that before the game said, we're going to stuff you. We're going to turn up because there's been no midweek game. We've got a pretty much fully fit squad now. We can bring off a Cavani off the bench and da. They just looked average, and there was nothing. They looked to be nothing rested about them. Mind you, they didn't look to be anything rested about us either, did they? Really, quite poor.
No, just back on that, what you were saying about crowds, Donny, it was annoying because when this fixture list first came out and I saw all these games in April, I fully expected us to be back in the stadium by then.
Yeah.
So when it's slowly come up to this, you're like, we should be there. And I thought, we should, like by April, when we're back in September or August, when the fixtures get released, or June even, you think, this time next year you'll be, everyone will be back in. But yeah, it's a real shame they weren't. And but like you say, we're safe and we're going to be there next year. So we're just going to give them both barrels next year instead.
Yeah.
Instead, we get to go West Brom at home. A few thousand of us.
Woo!
I mean, and Watford and Norwich.
Yeah,
Welcome back to the Premier League. So another thing that needs to get in the bin, referees. I thought that was the biggest advertisement for overhaul and the change of the laws and as well as the refereeing. Terrible.
Yeah. It was just so influenced by everyone else. Any player screaming at him, bench, manager, whatever it was, he was giving it, and whoever shouted the loudest, give it. And it's just like, I hate that.
Yep. And VAR, when they're checking for a penalty and he's clearly dived, like Bruno Fernandes clearly dived. Yellow card, free kick, yellow card.
Yeah.
Don't dive.
How many times have we said that this season as well? We've said that so many times. If you're looking and they have dived, it should be yellow cards. That's plain and simple. That's what the rules are. But yeah, it's not gonna change.
Overall feeling then for me is take a listen to ourselves. We're disappointed.
I know.
We're disappointed at not beating second place team. Forget that they're scum. But also drawing with scum. We lost 4-0 in a friendly out in Australia. Fair enough under odd circumstances, but still they tore us apart on the counter-attack. We lost 6-2. Again, they tore us apart on the counter-attack. Our defence has come under so much question this season, and we won the day. The defence won the day. Yeah. So initial reaction was, I fucking hate this ref, anti-football, I hate Man United. Why are they like this? And like Rob was saying, missing that bit of quality, that bit of pizzazz, Rafinha we missed.
Oh, yes.
Today.
He would have fun.
But we have got a point against a very good team in the end, and we've proven so many critics wrong this season. So, final thoughts then. Rob?
Up into 9th. We've had a good run in April. We're unbeaten against very good teams. We've played well. We managed to beat City. The Liverpool game, you could argue we could have got that in the second half. And today, if we'd have won 1-0, you could have seen it coming. If we'd have managed to get the win, and you wouldn't have been disappointed, like you've just mentioned, Donny. So, overall feeling of positivity. And let's just see out the rest of the season. Maybe give some of the younger guys a chance. I'm a big advocate of that, but I know Bielsa isn't. And Robbie Gott's been the example of his run on the benches. So I would have liked to have seen Somerville pop on, when he took Harrison off maybe. But it is what it is. We got the point. Marching on and on and on and on.
Okay. Woody? Agree completely, by the way, Rob.
Yeah, spot on. I was just, it's just nice to see us progress and, how we've grown this season from getting absolutely battered 6-2 to drawing and just having a really strong defensive display. I think that's one brilliant thing to come out of these hard games is the fact that defensively we look absolutely spot on. And, Llorente and Striker building a great partnership, and long may that continue. I know Cooper's coming in, but, for me, them two are doing absolutely brilliantly. It's all positive. Look, we've played some big teams and got some really good results. And like Rob said, up to 9th. I mean, come on, like who thought it would be this high? I certainly didn't. With this little time left, and we've got some pretty bang average teams coming up. I think we can do Tottenham, and then after that, we've got some pretty bang average teams. So let's look forward to them. Great defensive display today, and marching on. Let's keep this train going.
Excellent. Wholeheartedly agree with everybody. So unlike Arsenal Fan TV, where everybody shouts at each other and disagrees, this is the Roaring Peacock Leeds United fan channel, where we all agree. Friends. So if you liked this video and like this stuff, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if Leeds United is your thing. Maybe you want to smash the subscribe button like a fist to the chest. There you go. You like that? Okay. And if you're listening on the podcast, that won't mean anything to you. You can find us at Peacock's Raw on Twitter. And my name's Adonis, and you know me as at the Adelites. And it's a very goodbye from me. And joining us today was at Juicy Rob.
Goodbye.
And the Warden of the North at Sam Ward, LUFC.
Ta-ta, everyone.
Come on.
Most of our stats come from LUFC Stats or LUFC Data on Twitter. A very special thanks to Barney Stewart, Cook Ewan and Howard Metcalf, Josh Pearson, Laura, Leon and Rob, The Light Show, and all our family and friends.
So many games to play, don't care what's on